Let's do a roll call.
Yes, thank you. Chair Thompson,
Present.
Vice Chair Lee,
Present.
Board Member Baltai,
Present.
Board Member Hirsch,
Present.
Board Member Lu.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Our next item is oral communications. The public may speak on any item not on the agenda. Do we have any members of the public that wish to speak?
Right now we have 0 public members.
Great. Maybe next time. The next item is agenda changes, additions, and deletions.
No changes at this time.
Thank you. Our next item is city official reports.
Yes, if Medina can bring up the official reports.
Yes.
We do have, and I'll mention a few other items. The council is going to be, I believe, interviewing ARB members on Monday, the 13th. And so then we'll hear who is going to be on the new board. I know some incumbent members are interviewing, so we wish them luck. And then we will not have a meeting on the 16th. And we will not have a meeting on January 6th, I believe it is. So our first meeting with the new board will be January 20th. Right this moment, we are hoping to have that as a hybrid meeting where people could come in if they choose, but we would also have the Zoom available for others. But council will ultimately make that decision. And they may, I was hearing rumors that they may choose otherwise, just given the Omicron variant, if I'm saying that properly. We may want to hold off till, council may want to hold off till February or something like that, but we will hear about that soon and I will let you know. But again, even if we do hybrid, there's the option to be on Zoom or be in. So I'll just let you know the final answer on that. And definitely for some of our members, especially Alex, did not reapply, correct? And I believe, and Grace, have you, what's your latest status?
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to share. I haven't heard back from the city clerk. I'm not sure if you want to wait for that, but I think that you and Amy and Chair Ozma know that I'll be stepping away given some challenges on the healthcare side on my side and with seniors. So sad to do that, and also sad to leave you all with a 4-person board. I understand for a brief period of time. Hopefully, I know you all are terrific. So I mean, whoever. I'm sorry. There might be somebody new, but. Sorry to have to leave at this juncture after this meeting.
Yeah, no, and we completely understand that family needs to come first. So, but thank you both, for your help on this board. I mean, Alex, you're many, many years, and Grace, you were on in years past and back again. We really appreciate all your help. And David and Peter, I don't want to say goodbye, but I'll just, we appreciate all of your help on this board as well. We, maybe you'll be reappointed. I can't predict the future. But just thank you everyone. And Chair Thompson, don't want to leave you out, but you will be back for sure. So.
Grace, it's been a real pleasure getting to know you and serving with you. It's really, I really appreciate your talents and skills, and you have a great eye. I've learned a lot from listening to you.
Likewise all around. I understand there will be a time when we can say cheers and not speak about ARB business.
I would hope so. A lot more to life.
Yes, I think Chair Thompson was thinking of maybe putting together a coffee break, and then staff wants to put something together in the new year. We were thinking January 20th, but we'll see what council says as far as being in person. So, but yes, we're allowed to get together as long as we don't talk business. So, okay, with that, I will wrap it up and let you move on with the agenda.
Okay, yeah, I mean, luckily, I guess we have only one item on the agenda, and that is the Arb Awards. So when we were chatting last time, we've kind of cut down the list. We had a list of 100 and something, and we all needed, we did a round where everybody did one vote, and then I think it was like a list of 90 something, and we went around and did 2 votes. And now we have a list of 25. And so I think our plan is to go through each one and hopefully garner 3 votes, and then also ideas of if it does get 3 votes, what category it would be eligible for. So that's kind of how I'm thinking today will go. There were some pictures that were circulated via email of 405 Kurtner at the Sledge Facility. And then I know that Alex also sent some pictures of, I think it was the hospital, but I wasn't able to circulate those. Jody, were you able to include those in your?
I think I've been able to include most of them. I might have missed one, so you'll catch me as we go along, and I can bring it up if need be. So I've tried to add some of my own pictures as well. And I think, yeah, so we can go through, and then if there's a picture we need to see, I'll go find it real quick.
But Jody, I wanted to ask, did you get a bunch from me, David?
I did get a bunch from you, yes, and I just was furiously adding them a few minutes ago.
Thank you. Okay, just wanted to know it got through.
Also, I gave a bunch of thought to this, and I wanted to propose some categories first. Is that okay?
I think, yeah, I would be fine with that.
It really helped me. I went through the list and decided which ones I think should have an award. And I went through categories as well. And it was helpful to me to have the categories defined. I propose that we should have 4 categories of architectural design, one for residential, one for commercial, one for what I call storefront. That's a tenant improvement type thing on the shopping center or Cal Ave or University Avenue. And lastly would be institutional. That's a religious building, a government building, a school, a museum. Then I think we should have a category for the best sustainable project, one that best embodies green construction techniques. And then I think we should have one category, just best overall project, best architecture. That's 6 altogether. Again, one is the very best. Then you have residential, commercial, storefront, institutional, and best sustainable design. I think that we may or may not have something in every one of these categories. I wasn't able to come up with something for sustainable, but that's something we can debate. But even if we don't, that's making a statement by having a category that's not filled. So that's my sense on what are good categories.
Maybe let's go around the board and see if there were other categories that board members had considered as well. Is there another board member that would like to talk about some categories?
Okay. You know, I'm not sure if I agree or disagree, but because maybe some of the ones I looked at that really turned me on, or one or another of those categories, but suppose we missed a category there. And maybe I did as well. You know, I kind of brought one to mind that it seemed to me maybe should fit in. But I almost prefer that it's just called the best buildings of Palo Alto this past 5 years, that we just sort of recognize it no matter what its particular use is, and give that as a subtitle, as an alternate way of thinking about this. That if you make it into categories like that and you sort of leave one out, or if you institutional, sustainable, like for example, that if we have sustainable and we don't have a category and we don't have a applicant for it, then why would it be one of the ones we have?
Oswald, what do you want to do? I don't know if you want to get into a debate. on
No, I just kind of want to hear if there are categories, and then maybe what might make sense is because I was initially thinking we would go through the list and then we would note what category it could work for, and potentially we'd get a bunch of nominees for a
Then we'll
category.
know. Then we'll know what categories sort of to
Yes.
apply.
That was
That's
initially.
kind of my preference,
Okay. Does board member Lou or Vice Chair Lee have any thoughts on this item in terms of how we go about it?
So I think categories can be useful because like a small multifamily project that doesn't have the same kind of budget, that like a major office or hospital project at Stanford, they're just like apples and oranges. And so sometimes it's useful to have categories to sort of set the expectations at different levels. I think the other thing too, I think it's useful to have categories is because we might have several projects that are very similar, and it's a way for us to sort of evaluate similar projects and try to figure out which one is the best one.
And I think, sorry, one second before I knew you were going to say something, Vice Chair Lee, but I also think I remember there being a category you mentioning, Board Member Lou, about urban and contextual design as a potential category as well.
Right. Although I think that project could fall under like best project or best commercial project, right? For architecture.
Okay.
I think if we were doing that, like based on like context, then I would say that like all of our award categories should be sort of based on the findings, like individual findings. Right. But I think we're not we haven't been sort of trending that way.
It's an idea.
The best compliance with the comprehensive plan.
No.
I know we had discussed one that was like landscape only at our last meeting, and that is one of our findings. Sorry, go ahead, Vice Chair Lee.
Oh, no, I pretty much agree with what everybody's saying. It's great to start with some categories in mind. That's helpful. Maybe in the discussion, we'll be able to suss out or even fine tune or give more nuance to those categories, and it breaks down. You did 2 under one category, and then we talk about those. I think it should be a natural process through that. I am so sorry, but I question the word best. And particularly when we talk about best architecture in Palo Alto. And I guess it's just because, I mean, we can go more into depth about that. I think it's just also I wasn't on the review on a lot of these projects, and it's hard. I think in projects that even I feel like are deserving of award, I wouldn't use the word best.
Your assessment. Okay, well, let's see as we go through with what makes sense. The only one I'll add that was also discussed was materiality as another category. So it kind of seems there's like an approach where we, categorize by program, and other ones by the quality of the building, like sustainability, materiality, contextual design, landscape design. Okay, so let's start. I guess, Jody, if you have
Yes.
side projects.
Let me see if I can share the PowerPoint.
Oh no, wait, is this first one a picture? I might have forgotten to take a picture of this first one.
No, there's Bowman School is the first one. Is this large enough? Because I'm just afraid if I put it in, let me see, if I put it in slideshow mode, it like takes over my whole computer.
You can, I think there's a way to switch the screen.
Because right now we see like a media player, maybe.
I think it's either up here, that carrot. Oh,
Sorry, I went back to Is this large enough or no? Let's see. It takes over my two screens when I do. Let's see, let's stop. I don't know why I'm having more trouble today.
I don't think it's large enough for me, but
Yeah, we can keep it that way.
Okay.
Jody, would you like, this is Amy, would you like Medina to run this, and then you can have the opportunity to see the members? So it's on filling up her screen.
Yeah, I don't know if I downloaded it. So let's try
Okay.
this, and I can zoom in as needed. Just let me know. Thank you though. Thank you all. Okay, so first one is the Bowman School. And so we do have, this is our picture we've been looking at for a little while. I did get some more pictures here. And maybe I think this was, Osman, this was yours, but did David send me this picture?
Yes, I think
Okay.
so. I think it's mine.
Okay, great. So this is the front of the building. And then I did grab kind of a
Wonderful,
diagram that I
Yeah.
had seen on the internet. And then I
Jesus,
also
terrific.
I also grabbed, this is their patio, their sunken patio that they had to get a variance for.
It's not visible to the street. This is the part.
No,
that-
it's not. You can't get
Yeah,
in
so
there
if you look
either,
at this
right?
diagram, the sunken patio
Uh-oh. I think we lost Jody.
is kind of in the middle. This is more the street view. This picture is also the street view. What?
Right. Terrific, Jody.
So these buildings in this picture that I took, these buildings in the back here, these are all part, it looked like they were all part of the application. Is that right?
Yes,
are.
this is the whole, it's a whole large addition to the school. The actual school is down the street. But this,
Right. The entire campus here, with all those buildings that you show in plan, in perspective from the sky there is, it's all one project, all four of those, all three of those. And the landscaping.
Okay. All right. So are there any other images for this one? Or that's the extent?
yeah, these are the three images I have for this one.
So I guess let's see if there are. I guess we need to see if there's 3 votes to keep this in and what it would be nominated for. Were there any votes to support this?
I was there the other day and didn't get to see the whole inside. Of course, they wouldn't let me in, and they certainly wouldn't let me photograph because there are children there and it's kind of against the law to photograph the kids in school. But it's a really wonderful little complex, I think, of buildings, all of which is in the same vernacular, architectural vernacular, material selection, kind of a limited palette, but really nicely put together, all very traditional shapes to fit into the natural sort of Palo Alto look. I just think it's a terrifically well-detailed series and a really well thought out general plan for the school. Sits
Okay.
the street pretty well and sets back with this little sort of drive up in the front for drop off, I gather, and then the gates would open up, I suppose, and you can run in to the school.
So we have one strong vote.
One strong vote here for this one. Mhm.
So I can address this because this is where, to me, the idea of categories was really helpful. I think this is a strong candidate. This is a good building. Like David said, the site planning is excellent. I compare this to another institutional project, the Junior Museum in Palo Alto. And I find it's it's worth comparing the two. There's similar situations, there's similar ways of trying to fit into the context. I think the Junior Museum does a better job of integrating. In my opinion, this building integrates by mimicking the residential buildings nearby. The Junior Museum takes it a step further, and that's why I think that building is deserving of an award rather than this one.
I guess I just want to garner if there's interest in nominating this one? Because I think at the end, we'll see if we have a bunch of nominees for a certain category and then we can vote. But is there, Board Member Balte, do you have interest in even nominating this one as a contender for that category?
Well, it was second place on my list of institutional projects, so I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I mean, I think it's a strong project, but I don't.
Because we would vote, I mean, it'd be the difference between having one contender for it, which may be this other museum if we get 3 votes for that. But yeah, it would be a difference of like if it was part of the
So-
nomination or not.
If I could just make a further comment, if we didn't have to choose a single one for each category here, that's why I sort of prefer to see us choose the projects and then come back and determine whether we want one for categories or, you know, whether we want to categorize it as a school building versus a institutional building. You know, it seems to me that we could choose the categories later. That's was my feeling before. And choose maybe however we do this would be maybe more than 5 or 6 at this point, and then we have to, if we have to whittle it down, we could do it at that time. So I would like to keep this on the list because yes, it's very much more traditional and sort of derived from the nature of buildings in Palo Alto, but on the other hand, the site planning is so strong. The relationship of that sunken courtyard is so powerful as a site planning idea. The fact that it's sort of
Yeah.
three separate structures, the entry to it is good. You know, for a
So-
lot of good reasons, I think it's worth keeping it on the list at this time, and then we make a decision.
I can support that. This is in my top 10. So.
Do
if
we
that's
have
what you're
anybody
asking.
else that wanted to also include this? Vice Chair Lee or Board Member Liu?
No, I don't have a desire to include it, but it sounds like we're just going to go with each, just to clarify, Chair Thompson, we're going to go with each one of 25 and just see if there's 3 to keep it on the list and then have a general discussion. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that we would get 3 supports for a category that it could be nominated for. Yeah. So okay, so and then Board Member Liu.
Yeah, you know, on this one, I pass by it all the time on the bike path, and I'm really disappointed with the facades that face the Hechachi bike path. Like the back of the gym is really very unflattering. The amount of screening and landscaping on there is very disappointing. So I like the front, but yeah, I don't like the rest of it.
And
Okay.
I'm also not in support of having that one be nominated for anything. My reasons are mainly that yeah, I mean the facade on Arrestradero is actually a bit underwhelming for me. I think it's one of those facades that is trying to be residential and it's not residential, and it's kind of maybe fighting with the context a bit, but I don't know. It doesn't, I wouldn't recommend it for an award at this time.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I think, okay, so the next one that I have is 1451 California. And I think Board Member Lee, you might have some more pictures, but hopefully these show the project. So I got an aerial view because there were single family homes, townhomes, and then multifamily in the back. But I think as Board Member Liu said previously, the ARB's purview was fairly limited on this project, mostly dealing with the streetscape along Cal Ave. I do have some other pictures here that were shown previously. I just tried to make some of them bigger. And there are some community buildings, in the center as well.
there any thoughts on this one? Any support, any category given?
And if we want to just do the votes real quick, I can then, shorten this presentation and we can go back around if we need to.
I can give half a vote. I'm just concerned about it being a minor architectural review. Maybe that shouldn't be a concern, but since I wasn't on the board, I'm not exactly sure what you all contributed. But I do think it's a wonderful project for a neighborhood I know well in terms of context and connectivity.
So I feel the same way as Grace. I think I'm in the half a vote mindset on this one. The section, the part about like matching the California Avenue houses to the other side of the street was a major issue with the neighborhood, and the board spent a lot of time on it. The other thing the board was able to review the materials of the two condominium buildings, but that was it. And Stanford kept it, very limited per the development agreement with the city council. So, so we didn't stray over into areas that we weren't allowed to go into. So.
Okay, I'm hearing one vote.
Yep, I'm also hearing that.
611 Cowper is the next project. So I think I have an extra picture here, just kind of showing the front door area.
That's great.
But then.
I offer this building my strong vote. This is a wonderful commercial project in town. It does a great job of bringing the scale down to fitting the neighborhood nearby. It does a wonderful job with the materials, the terracotta rain screen cladding, the way the concrete is worked in on the left. And then the detailing is exquisite. It's just beautifully executed.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for this one as well.
I got two votes.
No, you've got three. Here's a
Three
third
votes.
is I really like the separation of the circulation core on the left, and the massing of it's really, really nice. And to re-emphasize what Peter mentioned is I think that the whole idea of the screening to bring the scale down is really what really sells me on the project and the way it approaches the street. And now that I see the entry, well, I saw it before, but beautifully photographed there, Jody. That's really nice. And it ties it all together, and that niche being a separation of the forms and the circulation from the functional spaces is just great scheme.
Okay. So I'm hearing three. Any more votes? Otherwise, we'll move on.
That's kind of all we need. Do you have any comments, Vice Chair Lee?
No comments right now.
Okay, and then in terms of category, sorry, let's go back to that one really quick. I heard a category for commercial, but was there another one in terms of materiality, context design, or something else that we might want to consider this project for? Detailing could also be one.
Yes, so that would be part of materiality, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say this project is a really good one for that.
What do the other people that voted for it think? In terms of category outside of the program?
Well, I'm not sure I'm that comfortable as my guess giving a category for detailing or materiality. I think the range of projects we have is so diverse that I think it's tough for me at least to judge them on that kind of category. I understand what you're talking about, and this building certainly is a great example of excellent detailing and wonderful use of materials.
I only ask it because it's one thing, the program is sort of a characteristic of the building that's outside of the architecture, but I kind of want to celebrate like what it is about the architecture that we are awarding this.
Well,
So, and I think once we come up with the final award winners, we'll have a chance to kind of write up a paragraph about them, that explains why they're excellent in nature, that sort of thing.
A comment, Ozma, is, are you suggesting that this one would get a materiality award, or because to me, the concept of the building is really what's so powerful, and then the detailing is what.
yeah.
So the concept of kind of a separate core expressing itself, and then the mass of the functional areas of the building, the massing of it is really more impressive to me than. But the detailing is, of course, really critical that from that point on, and so you sort of add it in at that point to the materiality, rather than treat it as a separate topic for this building.
An award-winning building should incorporate a lot of these things.
Yes. Mhm.
What do you think, Board Member Lou?
Yeah, and this one's already won an AIA award. So for me, there was a previous scheme by a different architect on the same site. And it was just a mess. There were things jiggling and juggling and stuff all over the place because they couldn't get the residential and the commercial all to sort of tie together. But Ken was able to do that on this one. And so for me, it's, the whole concept, from start to finish. It's the concept and execution together. And also as well, it's actually contextual with the high-rise housing next door, which is very tricky, I think, to pull off.
I think a category for like concept, like a concept design realized as a category too. I think architects struggle with that a lot, especially when it comes to build work. Okay, let's move on. I think I've got some good notes on this.
So this is 405 Kurtner. These are the pictures we saw before. I was able to find another picture, shows a little bit more of the interior.
This is just a multi-family residential, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, small multifamily.
Okay.
I give this building my support. I went through it and went over there again yesterday and took a bunch more photos. I feel it's important that we have a building in what I call a residential category, a good example of what we think is good residential architecture. To me, that's not single family architecture, but buildings like this. How do you fit in more than one? How do you make denser residential development in town? This building does an excellent job of it. It somehow fits in with the neighbor on the left, which is single family. It's got interesting architecture. It's people living there, you can see, are enjoying living there. It's healthy the way it's activated. And then the materials and the use are well done. I was just struck by the pavement out in front of the, you can't see it in this photo, but just the way the paving stones were done was nicely done. It's not often you see that on a speculative housing project like this. I remember when this one went through our review, I was concerned about the massing, the bulk of it on the street. The end result is very successful, I think. And so I think we should give this an award, in part because it's the best residential thing we have going. It's also just an excellent piece of architecture, in my opinion.
Okay, are there any other people that also support this? Board Member Hirsch?
I was interested for the formal aspects, mostly looking at the front of the building, which looked like it would establish a character to the building. And then for me, it sort of fell apart from there. The first place, it's this kind of a building on such a tight site with, 8 dwellings in it, all told, I think, but not sure. ends up being a hardscape sort of project and squeezing too much on a site. So for that, I'm kind of worried about getting more projects that are quite this dense and kind of car oriented from the ground. It does have sort of two sides to it, which it's hard to show the other side because there isn't much space to the other side, which is also a problem on sites like this. I find that the railings are incredibly clunky and unfortunately heavy. The scheme of sort of dividing it with the large scale stucco elements that also become roof lines, to me kind of it's overwhelming, and I'm bothered by that. I thought the concept looked rather interesting, to divide it in sections the way it's done, but the detailing of it fell far from being a sort of a top quality that would get it into the category that we would want to say we want to see more of this, because it really has to be all the way. It has to be with the detailing as well as how Peter has described it, which is good description, but nonetheless, I find that the detailing really falls apart, and citing of it is an issue for me, because I think buildings like this should have some relationship to the ground that's much nicer than just a parking lot, like as a major elevation.
Chair Thompson.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just know that we're on the third project and it's been 40 minutes, and I'm so sorry. And Jody's nodding her head, and I feel like maybe we should go through and just see if there's 3 votes for each, and then come back and have a really meaty, wonderful, full discussion.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. I have a meeting at 3.
It's just we've gone through this is our 3rd time meeting on the awards, and
Right. Okay. So let's take a quick straw poll on 405 Kurtner.
I heard 1 vote so far.
Vice Chair Lee, Board Member Liu.
And I'm not hearing any other votes.
I vote
Okay.
yes.
Oh,
There's 3
okay.
yes
So
votes.
I hear 2 votes. Okay.
This is the best you're gonna get, David, for residential. Come on.
It's a really good material. Like, it looks really nice.
Well, and we can come back around. I mean, the 3 votes is not a hard rule. If we don't find another residential one, we can come back around. So next up is 180 El Camino. This is the phase 3 project. So I wanted to put in a site plan so that you understood. Phase 3 is these 4 buildings here. So it was the Victoria's Secret's north face. Vineyard Vines is on the other side here. I think Tender Greens is in the middle. So that's phase 3. And we do have a couple different pictures. So this is, the Victoria's Secret's end of things. There is the archway or trellis kind of happening. Victoria's Secret's again, and then the north face. We had lots of discussions about these topo lines for some reason. Here's the Tender Greens, just looking on the other side of that alleyway. Here's the Vineyard Vines on the other corner, and then just a more pulled back view of that. So that's all of that.
Let's go through and see if we have votes. Board Member Liu.
Yeah, I haven't voted for this one.
You did vote for this one?
No, I haven't. Yes.
I think we need to speed it up. I think if we don't hear you, then you're voting no.
Okay. Down votes all aboard. Okay, so this one's out then.
Okay. So next up is the Shake Shack area of the shopping center. So we do have, it's this sort of triangle end of the building. It does have a patio, and this is the patio that's on the front end. And these are, I think the drapes are drawn here, but there's some big clear glass there.
I vote yes.
I hear 1 vote.
0. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this
Nobody-
is better way to move through it.
Okay. I hear one vote, so we're moving on. 2585 El Camino. I did get a view of this end of the building. I think this is probably a drawing, but it just shows it's, kind of got the two different pieces. And then these are the photos that were taken for it. Any votes?
Can you split the
Aye.
building in half and I'd vote for this section?
You gotta vote for the whole thing. Okay. I'm hearing none. Okay, and then we move on to the fire station. So this is the front view of the fire station on Embarcadero. I got a few other pictures. This is the other side of the
Oh,
building.
beautiful, beautiful.
And then
Jody.
we got the firefighter looking out onto the park. I couldn't resist.
Any votes?
I hear Peter's one vote,
David's one vote.
Two-
Alex,
3,
I'll vote too. Yep.
4. Board member Lee. I hear 4
Sorry,
votes.
I'm just not voting on ones that already won awards, but I do very much admire this project every time I drop by.
Excuse me. Okay. Sounds good. Got 4 votes. This is the Sledge Facility. We did get some more pictures of this. So here's the actual building itself.
And I have to say, having been there, it's like a very utilitarian, very affordable building. And the nicest thing about it are the trees in front of it. It does have a nice, there's a very ode to brutalism or something.
Yes, it's brutalism.
That sort of makes me like it a little bit.
Okay. Any votes for brutalism?
Ozma, you went out to see this building?
I did.
Is
Yeah.
it really Core-10 steel that they used?
Yes, it
And
is.
is it board formed concrete? That's what I
No.
remember them applying.
No, it's not board form concrete. It's like concrete with the dots. I forget what that's called.
Oh, so just standard form boards.
It's like pull up panels.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hearing 0. Okay. Next up. Next up is the boardwalk replacements. So just the boardwalk was falling down and now it's nice and new.
I'll go yes.
I hear 1 vote. Okay, 1 vote, going once, going twice. Oh, I think we removed this one actually. It's not on my list, right?
Yeah, I don't think this one had enough.
Okay.
support.
Okay, so I'm deleting this. Oh, I duplicated it instead, sorry. Delete. Delete. Okay, so we're on to 180 Hamilton, which is, it's the hotel, but it's Nobu got the first and second floor got a reface with the restaurant.
I'll vote yes.
I hear 1.
Anybody else?
If I vote yes now, it doesn't mean it necessarily wins. It's just to keep it in the mix.
Keep it in the
running.
running.
Yeah, I'll vote to keep it in the mix.
Okay, 2
Yes.
votes.
That's still only 2 votes. Anybody else?
I'll vote to keep it in the mix.
Wow.
Okay, 3 votes. Okay, we've got, oh, here's just some more pictures so we can take a look in a little bit. And then we have 261 Hamilton. So this was University Arts. I got some pictures of, the old sort of University Arts and then the new version on the right-hand side here. So it got just a nice refresh. It is a historic building. So the little tiles on the bottom, the window areas were replaced. And this is the other street, actually Hamilton. So the old is on the right and the new is on the left here with sweet greens and the tiles on the bottom of the windows.
I'll vote yes.
I vote yes.
2 votes.
Anybody else?
Okay, 2 votes it is. So, and I mean, we may come back to 2 votes, we'll see. Next one is 3223 Hanover, which is in the research park. I got some, I think David sent me some pictures
Yeah,
of
I
this.
did. Yeah, some wonderful
s-
shots in the inside.
And so if my thing will advance, here we go.
Oh,
So it
that's
does
good.
have this
Okay.
butterfly effect on a lot of the roofs. And they've done
yeah.
a lot of these little things even in the parking lot.
You know, you got to talk about a little bit about this, what it's all about, because the parking is in a huge berm all around the entry at the lower level. And you come up to a plaza out of that staircase in the middle with a butterfly roof. And then you distribute to the whole upper plaza here with surrounded by this kind of butterfly field to the whole face of the building. It's really quite impressive. And I want to vote yes.
Anybody else?
I'll vote yes.
All right, passes. Move on. This is
Okay.
really whittling the list down, which is good.
So we do have, next is 480 Lytton. So this is our original picture we had. I got another nighttime picture because I believe this got an award already. Any votes for this?
Well, I think we should keep it in the mix. Yes.
Anybody else?
I hear 1 vote.
Only 1 vote.
Next on the list is Colameth. So these are the pictures we had before. I just tried to make them a little bit bigger. There.
Anybody else? Come on now.
I'll vote yes.
It's a very impressive building. I vote yes.
2 votes.
I drive by this all the time. We're doing a project down the street and I'm really disappointed compared to what we originally approved. The execution, at least what you see from the street, just seems very flat. It didn't pull off the beauty that these photos seem to imply. What I really see is just a garbage dumpster at the end of the building, and the wood slats don't really do it in the end somehow, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm hearing
Well-
2 votes.
Well,
So there's still
you know,
3
I
votes.
sort of thought about this one as a question, as an example of materiality. I want to sort of push hard that the contrasts are really interesting and that the idea of this projecting element in front of a kind of an ordinary box behind it with regular large openings, and the site planning is quite amazing. So I think we should push it.
We have 3 votes from Grace, David, and
We do
myself.
on it. Yeah,
Okay,
Grace
good.
and myself. Yeah, your
Yeah.
vote too, Ozma.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
We didn't
fine.
hear anything from board member Lou.
Okay, I'm hearing
Yeah.
3 votes, which is,
Yeah, and I'm on the fence on this one.
I mean,
okay.
I did take these pictures and it was like that when I was there.
Okay. So next is Middlefield, 636 Middlefield. I don't know that I got any more pictures of this one.
This is also a sort of an infill, high-density multifamily housing project. At least similar in my mind, comparing this to 405 Kirtner. I do not vote for it.
Okay, I'm hearing,
I did. I voted for it, and I like the unusual kind of color contrast with the dark stucco and the red elements to it, and the kind of nice way in which each one of these houses kind of fits this site. Although it doesn't have much greenery.
Do we have more than 1 vote? Doesn't look like it.
okay, I'm hearing 1. Next up is the Children's Museum, Junior Museum. So here's the pictures, and then we had a few more of the entryway.
I enthusiastically support this project.
Support as well.
2,
I support it as well,
3.
although frankly, the scale of it bothered me a little bit as a non-child scale to the new building relative to the old one, which had such a wonderful kind of feeling for kids. It is overwhelming in its size of the opening here, but there should be crowds coming into this, and maybe it works.
Okay, I hear 3 votes, which is enough to keep it going.
Mhm.
Next is 2555 Park.
This one was discussed only for the landscape wall at one point, but it is the whole building that we're voting on, to be clear,
I only give it half a vote.
because of the landscape wall.
No, it's won a one award already, and I'm just not sure. So I'll give it half a vote.
It's won like an AIA award.
Yeah, I think it was Santa Clara Valley.
So is there any support for this building? Wow,
Okay, 0.5.
there's 0.5.
Next up is 1400 Page Mill.
Is this the one with the landscape?
This is not the big corner property. We took that one off, I believe.
Oh, maybe
No,
that.
this is the corner one. I think this one got voted off last time.
No, there's another one.
There's 1450, which is
There
right
is-
next door.
Yeah, but there
And
was.
that one got voted off as well. But I was pushing for this one previously because of the net zero net zero energy.
Oh,
But there was no other support.
is this, hold on, though, I wasn't aware of that. This is a net zero building?
Are you
It's
sure
our
this one?
it's our first net zero speculative office building.
Really?
I would support this one. I thought there was a different one that was our net zero one.
Well, there's also 636 Waverly. But it's a much smaller project.
This is, are we sure of that, Alex?
I'm looking it up right now. It looks like it's LEED Platinum Net Zero.
I support this.
Okay, that's 3 votes. Alex, Peter, and me.
Okay, 3 votes. Okay, next one is 1050 Page Mill. And I think,
I supported this one.
yeah, this one has the large courtyard that I wasn't able to get pictures of. Actually, there's sort of something in the middle here. But this has the technology wave is how they explained it.
Anybody else?
I'll vote for this one.
2.
I think I'll vote for this one.
Yeah, and this is 4 large buildings on a larger site. Okay,
And this one, I think I would put design concept on this one, but did you guys have other categories you were thinking for this one? Nope, not yet. Okay.
okay. Next is 355 University. This is the design within reach. This was we got a seismic bonus, so they got a second floor on this. It also kind of wraps around so that it goes onto the other street. It's not on the corner, but it wraps around. And then there is the view into the basement. I think Board Member Balte had brought that up before.
I support this project. I think it's a wonderful storefront improvement on the avenue.
I do too.
I support it.
3 votes. Okay, 3 votes. 375 University. This was the Cheesecake Factory. Got a whole new facade, and now it's broken up into the 3 pieces.
I support this one.
I support it too.
Anybody else?
Beautifully detailed. Good proportions.
I'll support it for now, keeping it in the mix. It's a beautifully executed facade renovation.
Okay. And then next is 500 University. I believe Alex submitted this sort of more distant picture so you can see the street view. And then we had some more zoomed in photos here.
Yeah, and this one has already won a Silicon Valley Business Journal award. But I was going to vote for this one.
Well, I was comparing this to 611 Cowper, liking 611 Cowper better, but this is a close second in my mind. If we keep it in now, I'm all for forcing a vote on it. So I'll vote yes for now.
Still only 2 votes, I think.
Okay, 2 votes so far. We have the 636 Waverly Building.
I think this one got axed last time.
Is
I
this the
think
net
it-
zero one?
Barely hung in. At least it's on my list.
On 1119, it only got 1 vote.
So, but I'm hearing no votes today. Okay. Next is 701 Welsh, the Children's Hospital. So we have some more zoomed in photos here. Oh, sorry, did I skip one? Well, this is the original photo and then some new photos.
Anybody?
I
Any
am
vote?
hearing,
Well, some aspects of it for sure I really like a lot.
that
Certainly
sounds
the-
like a 0.5.
What specifically, like if we don't want to vote for the whole building, what aspect would we want to award it for?
Yeah, hard to really fit it actually in terms of the massing. Pictures don't do it justice. One elevation seems to really work very well, but not we haven't photographed it here.
I would say that the thing that sets this building apart is the sense of like human scale. Like at all points, everywhere, in every corridor and elevator, there's been attention to the design of the building, and you don't really see that very often.
I agree with Alex.
On the ground floor experience, you mean?
No,
floor,
throughout
yeah.
the entire building, every elevator, vestibule, every lobby there's a podium courtyard. Everything has been
Right.
designed around like child height.
Child's and
Yeah.
the public open spaces. There's the outdoor spaces as well.
Yeah, both courtyards. Yeah.
And
So
the entryway here, which is well shown, the scale.
yeah. So
I think
So-
for a very large building, a huge hospital type building, that aspect of it's really, really important.
I think there's one other thought too on this one, which we may or may not want to address, is like the Palo Alto's longstanding 50-foot height limit. So in the medical center, all the new buildings are going over the 50-foot height limit because they're in a special zone. So I think there is something to be said though about going over the height, but maintaining scale and character and quality. So so I think there's something there that could be addressed, by the board.
Okay, so I guess, does it have your vote and David's vote?
Mhm.
I'll add mine too, although I just want to point out that this is a minor, what I read in the description, I just wasn't sure. Something about landscape and edges. And I'm not sure about interiors, but it sounds like you reviewed the interiors as well. I'm going to keep it on the list.
I think the minor thing is true, but it's still, the whole project was still completed in our time frame. And the only reason why I saw the interiors was because there was the grand opening tour, but
Yeah, I was sad to miss the tour. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a
So-
third vote to keep it on.
Okay. And I think, David, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were asking to add back in the 2,500 El
2,500,
Camino.
yeah, because this piece of it's missing. So this is a mix of both the front and this image has got a bit of everything in it, right? You're kind of looking at the entry from the backside on the left. And there is sort of no front entry showing. It's between the two masses. So I don't know if you have a picture that shows both the white portion of the building and the tile portion, which is here on the right, it might, so that the rest of the board at least can understand what was done here. Whether they like it or not, at least it's worth looking at it that way.
I think this building is problematic from El Camino, David. It just
Okay.
doesn't do it for me at all.
Okay.
Not a good example of urban design. Not to mention housing, I don't think. So I don't support it. I'm sorry.
The courtyard was missing before, and I think it's quite a nice
The
courtyard.
courtyard is great. I think that's nice.
Mhm. And I agree with you that there's something kind of weak on the El Camino side
El
there.
Camino is not doing it, and it's so important to get that right.
Yeah, this doesn't have my vote either.
Okay, we could move on from there. Yeah,
Okay.
I did push it, Jody, and thank you for putting it in.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. So let me see.
I have 11 yeses.
Can you tell us which ones they are? I'm keeping track myself.
So the yeses I have are 611 Cowper, 799 Embarcadero, 180 Hamilton, 3223 Hanover, 4175 Manuela, 1451
A
Middle.
little bit slower, Osmo. I'm trying to write you,
Here,
Oh,
I'm gonna,
or put up a list or do something.
I
yeah,
have it. Okay, if you have it, Jody, it's fine. I can share my screen too.
yeah, I have to redo it a little bit. So if you have it faster.
I can share. Yeah, you have to let me know. You have to stop sharing.
Oh, is that how? Let's see, stop share.
So
There we
having
go.
come to the end of this, is there any thought as to what whether we talk about categories again?
Yeah, so I think now is a good time. So I have potential proposed. Can you guys see my screen? The Excel file.
This is good, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have the
Oh,
proposed category here on the right.
I wanted to ask a question here. They didn't finish the California Avenue garage within this period of time?
I think if it wasn't finished, it wasn't considered.
Well, if we're stopping in 2020, correct? Because
Oh, okay.
I did
So-
the site visit in 2021, I believe. The final inspection.
So it doesn't make it into this category this year, this 5-year period.
The 5-year period that ends in 2020, if things
Okay,
were built
understood.
by 2020.
That's good. So I had another thought about, categories, because there is a kind of a discrete category for commercial buildings in which, Cowper or a couple of the others have been decided that they fit, at least for votes at this point. And then there's that large scale one, which I really like a huge amount on the Hamilton. And that's just a complex, it's a major commercial complex of a building. So there's a difference, different possible category there.
What other category?
Commercial buildings.
I do have the type is noted here for all of these. And I guess, what is this mixed? The Cowper is mixed.
So,
611 Cowper is all commercial.
well, it's got residential on the top floor, but just a little bit.
So we'll call it mixed use. So yeah, we have, this is office. Oh, okay. Is 1400 Page Mill, is that R&D or is that office?
R&D.
Yes. Yes.
R&D would be the larger scale building then.
So, I mean, I have some of these other like quality items that we spoke to as well. I've noted the ones for, there's sort of 2 for sustainability. I have 1, 2, 3 for materials. I have 2 for design or 3 for design concept. For these storefront facades, the design within reach and the Cheesecake Factory, outside of commercial, are there any other qualities to the design that we'd want to consider, like materiality or content, like urban design? There's another context in urban design.
I just want to mention for 355, what I wasn't on the board for this, but I understood it was a, historic review, seismic rehab. I mean, it was, and what struck me for that DWR project was actually the basement and the daylighting, just in terms of how the section is, if I'm remembering it correctly, and then the use of glass for transparency. I just wanted to note that it's maybe more than just the facade. And then I just, for the categories, I guess, I mean, and maybe I'll get there with the discussion, but I guess I feel more comfortable with typology categories, and because I think it's harder to find consensus on design concepts, or when we, I mean, I'm not sure how it's going to work. I mean, in terms of the 5 of us agreeing on that category. And then the other piece I just wanted to point out is, since we still have so many, is it helpful to go through and discuss each and see if you get 4 votes and then you can eliminate, or I don't know. We still have quite a few, and maybe it's okay if we give a lot of awards. And then lastly, I just want to note that, a few of these projects won awards in the past, and I don't know if that's at all for me. I would rather, since these are all terrific projects, just lift up one that hasn't received a regional award. But that's just me, perhaps.
And I have one follow-up, is that I think we should try to reduce the list down, mostly because when the city council does their proclamations, they're pretty wordy, and it takes up a lot of time, and there are photo ops after each one, and so I think it's really better to get it down to, like, 4 or 5 if we can.
Okay. And I guess just to address the concept of awarding something that's already received an award, I guess I don't have that same reservation. I know if it were me as the architect, I'd want to win all the awards. I'd want to be celebrated in all the different ways, and I don't want to deny these designers that as well. So I think okay, so I've heard Board Member Balti and Vice Chair Lee feel more comfortable with just awarding it by typology. I feel pretty strongly that there should also be an architectural component to that as well outside of the program. What does Board Member Liu and Board Member Hirsch feel about the categories?
Do I feel that?
There's other categories, like I can understand. So the design concept category would be like a design concept realized category, where the concept is very clear in the execution, and it wouldn't be like a necessary judgment on, the best concept necessarily, but I see categories here like sustainability is really important. You know, a lot of like materiality has been discussed, scale has been discussed. I think these are things to celebrate as part of the design.
And Chair Thompson, I just want to add that in the past on these awards, we also have given a board member, or I remember we assigned, I mean, Amy can correct, or Alex, but I remember that each of us, I wrote a paragraph for one of the awards and included in that one or two, three sentences, something about whatever we felt strongly about in our discussion: design, concept, materiality, sustainability. And so I'm wondering if maybe that's a way for those words to come through when the award is presented. I'm just offering that as just more color on how we've done in the past. We don't have to do it that way.
Okay.
That's a good, I think I kind of agree with what is stated, because, you know, projects will have more than one of those descriptions. Definitely.
So I guess, but then that would mean, so we have like, for example, we have 3 R&D projects and we would only pick one out of them.
Exactly.
We have 2 commercials, we'd only pick one. We only have, oh, we've got 2 public facilities. Okay, let's see if I can sort these from A to Z.
And I just also want to offer, if there's 4 members who feel strongly about these projects, then maybe the project does win an award, or we as a group decide that we can only have 1 project per typology. I'm just asking those questions. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's okay to offer to have.
Most design competitions are isolated by typology, with the jury having the ability to pull 1 or 2 special things out, either extreme excellence or just a merit awards. But it's usually organized by ways the public perceives these buildings, by the uses. And I think, Ozma, you run the risk of just being seen as being such a wonky architect that we're not taken seriously. It's just hard to judge execution of a design concept for us, not to mention city council or the public. And we want everybody behind this.
I guess, Chair Ozma and Board Member Belta, I just want to offer that, given that our purview is institutional, commercial, I'm just forgetting everything now, multifamily, and then the percentage of projects that we see, we do see a lot of commercial projects, and just want to offer the possibility that we could give a project, 2 projects or 3 projects that are in the commercial category an award. That would be per the percentage projects that we see. We don't see a lot of multifamily, sadly, and you see it here in our spread. So I just wonder, and I think in the past, it wasn't organized by typology. 5 main projects were Hoover Pavilion, Quarry Road, Rinconada Library, Apple Store, and there's a playground and a library and a remodel. So I'm just saying in the past that it wasn't 1 per typology, but I'm open to however you all feel as a majority.
Wait, did you just list out some past categories that weren't?
Oh, sorry, I was just reading the staff report because, this is really great. They, Jody and Amy put in here 2015. I'm just looking at the main projects that have been awarded. They were Hoover Pavilion, Rinconada Library, Apple Store, the Magical Bridge Playground, Mitchell Park Library for Sustainability, and Paris Baguette Remodel. So I just don't see housing there either. Isn't that a interesting situation that happens year after year for us?
That's why I think we need to have a category called housing. And if we don't have a building that fits an award, I think we need to let that be publicly known. I think that's actually a very good statement to make.
We do. We've got a mixed use, which technically could count.
Well, but if it's
have housing,
but that's not an example of housing I can support. That's not what makes that building good.
That's my point. That's partially why I don't want to do this by only typology, because I don't think the typology is what makes the building good. I think we need to judge it by what makes it good and give it that recognition.
Yeah, and also, Santa Clara Valley, they have merit awards. They have, I don't know, some places have honorable mention. They have a full award. I don't know if we want to do something like that. That's another way to think about it. Yeah.
I'd like to just comment a bit about this because what strikes me is really the reason why we choose some of these buildings is because of the proposed categories as they're described here, and they do involve some very appropriate descriptive language, but it's missing now in several of in the brown area here.
Yeah, I'm missing some categories for these guys. Because we didn't talk about what categories we'd want these to be in.
So I like it just because this gives a general sense of what it is that we saw about these buildings that were made them significant, rather than the use function. The descriptions are just better, the proposed categories.
And I think
It's just,
to address board member Balte's concern about the public being behind this, I mean, I think we should also be encouraging the public to look at buildings like this more than their use. Sorry, go ahead, board member Hirsch. I didn't mean to cut you off.
well, I think I finished. It's just to fill out the proposed categories and make those kind of the punchy parts of our boards in the end that describe why they were selected.
Okay.
So if in that case we had two of the same type, for example, we have two rather different buildings on University, two stores. They're both just about equal in quality.
Mm-hmm. Two university ones. Board member Wu, any
sort
thoughts
of
on the categories before we?
Storefront facade.
Alex? Do you have any
Yeah, I
thoughts?
don't have anything to say at the moment.
Did you have an opinion on how we should do the categories?
Yeah, no, I think my take on it is to that we're going to have to. My suggestion is that we figure out some sort of method to cut this list down in half.
Yeah.
And I don't care how we do it, but we're just going to have to do it.
Should we do the 4 votes thing that Vice Chair Lee suggested? I'm okay if we want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Jody, have you been able to whittle down the presentation to just have these guys on there?
If you give me about 1 more minute. I was working on that as we speak.
In the meantime, if people remember what people said about these.
And Chair Thompson and board, if you will, I just am reading the staff reports. Interesting, because in 1998, 5 awards went to 5 projects, right? 2005, 5 awards went to 5 projects. 2010, 10 awards went to 10 projects from an eligible list of over 100 projects. And that's when they did the honorable mentions. Actually, I think I was on the board at that time. 2015, 5 awards went to 5 projects for an eligible list of over 34 projects. So it's just kind of interesting to see. I guess each board decides to do different things. So
I wonder, because our list is long, we can have more projects.
I think Alex is spot on that we need to keep this to 5 projects, plus or minus 1.
Staff would agree. Okay, so let me see. If you, let's see, I think I can share.
Oh, let me stop sharing.
Yeah, I think it'll let me steal it from you. Screen presentation, here we go. And share. Okay. So I think the only, let's see, we'll run through these. So we had the 611 CalPER. We had the 2 different photos for that one. I had on my list, I still had the 405 Kurtner with 2 votes, but maybe this one, I think this one dropped off your list, Chair Thompson.
It only had 2 votes.
Yeah, okay. So let's drop this one off. Why is it not doing it?
Unless we want to get more votes on it, because I was one of the ones that voted for it. But
okay, not hearing any strong opinions. So So then the next one is the fire station. Actually, well, I'm not getting votes. Wait, let's go back. Sorry. 611 CalPER. We're gonna do a revote, right?
Yes.
See if we can get,
Okay. So let's go. Let me get the curtain out of here. There we go. Okay, revote. So 611 CalPER. I need to hear votes.
Yes.
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 3 yeses. The fire station. How many votes?
Yes.
Yes.
2
yes,
votes. 3 votes.
Yes.
4
4
votes.
votes. 4 votes. Okay. The 180 Hamilton.
No.
Silence. Okay, that's a big 0. That one's gone.
That guy won. But
Oh,
yeah,
1.
it's gone.
It's still gone.
I was gonna say yes too.
Oh, it's 2.
Still gone.
We
Yeah,
have to
we-
give time. We have to give people time to make their vote too.
No, come on, people, yell it out.
All right.
3223 Hanover.
Yes.
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 No.
I
Oh,
hear
wait.
3 votes.
3
Alex?
votes.
Oh, yeah, I will vote yes.
Oh, 4 votes. Okay, everybody has to say something.
Yeah, we can't have
How
quiet.
about, how about that? No more quietness.
That's fair enough.
Okay, wait, let's see. Colameth.
Yes.
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 3.
Alex?
Everybody has to say something.
I vote yes.
4.
Okay. I'm a no.
That's 4. Okay. Middle field. The zoo, junior museum.
Yes.
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 I'm a no.
4 votes. 1400 Page Mill.
Yes.
I'm a no on
I'm
this.
I'm a yes.
I'll vote yes.
I'm on the fence.
I vote no.
3.5. 1050 Page Mill.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yes.
Who's
I'm a
number
yes.
5? Okay, 3. Design within reach.
Yes.
Yes.
I honestly prefer the other one, so it's got to be a selection then. So you know, you almost do a no vote because you want the, that's tough. I
Well,
like it, but
you should be
it's.
putting them in categories, gang. It'd be a lot easier to see. Well, really,
Peter.
you're comparing the two, David, as am I. And now it's a political game rather than just being able to choose.
Well, that's what it's become because we're also talking about numbers here as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're both excellent. The differences are minor.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
this is the better of the two, but either
Okay.
one would work.
I like the other one, but okay.
All right, by the other one, are we talking about
The
3
cheesecake.
375?
Yeah,
Yeah, Chop Keenan's thing.
I think it's stronger.
Okay, it
That's
sounds
not
like
Chops, that's Roxy's.
Roxy's, you're right. You're right.
Roxy Rab.
okay, so it sounds like at least these 2
I
are
didn't-
going together. So
I didn't hear Alex's vote on 355.
yeah, so
I'm a
35.
no.
You're a no on which, Alex?
Design within reach.
I'm a no on it too.
So I heard
Okay.
2 votes for this one.
That was a, yeah, 2. I guess.
DWR is how many votes?
2
2.
votes.
Is 2.
And Board Member Lee, did you say on this one?
Oh, I said yes, but I just want to be full disclosure. I thought I could vote on 2, so I was going to vote for both because I've only voted on 3 projects so far for yes. So I don't know if that's okay, but I was going to say yes to both storefronts.
I think you can. It's just about
Okay, so I'll say yes to university.
Okay, so then it's 3 votes.
no,
So
2 votes. I just have I have Balte and Lee. Those are
Hold
my-
on, where are we here? 375. Where, how
Well,
many?
no, let's stay back on design within reach. Let's do design within reach over.
Okay,
Okay, we're gonna vote over again on this particular one. How many votes do I have?
Yes.
Yes.
No,
No.
no,
So
Okay, so two yeses.
just two. Yep.
Okay. And then 375 University.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
3.
I'll
Alex,
vote
that
yes,
was a,
sure. It's a good vote.
Alex was a yes, and so that's 5.
That's our only unanimous vote.
Woo!
This is unanimous?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 5 yeses.
Wow.
Okay,
I was definitely getting an award.
okay, yeah, really. Okay,
Yeah.
and then we had the hospital.
Well,
No.
Yeah.
Alex, speak up. I think we lost this one.
Oh, I'll go yes.
You did?
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Oh, is that 4 yeses?
I think that's 4 yeses.
I'm a no.
I didn't hear Alex though.
oh, yes,
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's 4 yeses. So, well, and you can decide the category too. So,
Mhm.
okay. So I
Yeah.
do have these votes. But Chair Thompson, did you have a better spreadsheet?
I do. I've got it. I can sort from largest to smallest in terms of votes.
Yeah.
Do you want me to
And sure. So I only had 2 that dropped off.
So,
yeah, well, I mean, if you take 4 and up, we have 6.
yes, that's right.
Okay.
So we do have our 6 contenders as such.
And Chair Thompson, I just want to tell
Wait
you.
a minute. We have only 3 for Cowper. Let's go back on that one.
Are you sharing your screen?
I'm not.
Okay, here, let me stop sharing so you can share the spreadsheet.
And yeah, we only do have 3 for Cowper.
I did not vote for that one because it already has won the San Mateo Award.
So this is our second straw poll right here.
Chair Thompson, I just want to note that I voted for 3 institutional, for example. So I'm not sure how we're going to talk about
Yeah.
categories.
I think it would be a shame not to put the Cowper building in.
so Grace, if you're not voting for projects that have already won awards, right? The 4175 Manuela Award has won a AI project award
Oh, I didn't know
in Santa
that.
Clara Valley.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm okay if that one doesn't get our Palo too. I also wasn't part of the review, so I don't know it that well. But does that mean it comes off the list?
I don't know. Are you retracting your vote for it?
Well, it's just that's why I didn't vote for the fire station.
Oh, that's why the fire station didn't get. Well, the fire station got 4.
Yeah, you
Oh.
don't need my vote there, actually. Right.
Yeah.
Grace, do you realize that you're skewing the result by having that standard that nobody else holds?
Oh, there's lots of standards that we all don't share. I think it's part of my criteria in assessing projects. I think we should have multiple commercial projects and institutional projects win awards.
You're entitled to hold whatever standards you like, of course. But
Right.
when nobody else is judging it by that standard, it skews the results for what's otherwise
I
fine
think
buildings.
we're all judging by different standards when
Yes, I
voting for these
understand.
projects.
So do we
I
want?
actually feel like I shouldn't be part of this vote, period, because I haven't been part of the review on.
No,
Well,
A
no,
lot
but
of us
I
haven't.
think, yeah, I think Chair Lee, I mean, this is, all the board members have an equal vote. And, you're all qualified architects, you can judge it after the fact, just the same. Do we want to, for the top couple of ones, do we want to give those some categories and kind of see what happens?
Yeah. So our number 1 is the Cheesecake Factory. What categories out? I mean, do you want to talk to more than just the fact that it's a commercial facade?
Well, I think we're going to end up writing a paragraph about all of these. So maybe we just need some, what's the main award, and then maybe some key points about why it's interesting. And then somebody later will write a whole fancy paragraph.
Right, that's the thing to do.
Okay, what's the main award for this one?
But I get back to Cowper. Are we really going to leave Cowper out?
We're not 100% done yet. We're just going to focus on the top ones and then have
Okay,
another discussion.
okay.
So for the first one, we're talking about the Cheesecake Renovation. I think Board Member Balte had talked about maybe like a storefront renovation kind of category.
Well, yes, proportions, detailing, fitting in with the context,
High quality material.
quality of materials, materiality.
Yeah.
Ozma, we have to get it in there somewhere.
Unfortunately, I have that for most of these, so it's sort of becoming a little moot at this point. Okay, I guess the category could be storefront renovation. We like that
I just call it a storefront.
storefront.
It's actually more than
Much more.
it's more than a storefront renovation, because they had to break apart the space back into two buildings, right? Because the Cheesecake Factory had combined it into one project, into one space.
So they had to break it up. I think urban design is a good one for this one, because I think what I really like about it is how it has this connection with the street because of where the sills are located on the windows. So I would also advocate for urban design.
Mhm.
Or is that the human scale?
I see human scale something slightly different, but it could also work. I think like our urban design is kind of like street experience and urban experience. And I think this project enhances the urban experience on university.
Yes, agree with that.
I normally think of urban design in a planning context and scale. I definitely can see the human scale there, as well as how something related to the street or to the facade.
Or is it streetscape? Like,
And also, I just wonder if this is a task given to, I don't know how we're doing this, if someone's going to be writing per, once we have 5 or 6 that we feel strongly about.
yeah, it might be good to give someone ownership of this particular project.
Someone who feels the most strongly for it.
Mhm.
See, Amy has her hand raised. Did you want to say something, Amy?
Oh, she took her hand down.
Do you mean, Grace, just the person decides what the category is? Or like how
Or
do you,
if we just want to maybe, I'm just suggesting maybe we have the 5 or 6 that we all feel strongly for before we go through each. Because right now we still have 11, right?
no, we have 6.
Oh, we only have, oh, sorry. Those are our 6 awards.
We have a top 6,
Okay.
but I think we have, David was asking about one about
Cowper.
Cowper.
That's down here.
So that's why I was thinking if we went through these and we sort of start to see what the categories are, we
Okay.
could see if we're missing.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. So
Okay.
we're only talking about those top ones.
We're just talking about the top. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just trying to find a category. What category do they fall into? Or do we want to make for them? And then maybe some keywords about them. And then yes, from the category and the keywords, then someone can take ownership and write a whole paragraph.
I mean, I'm okay with human scale. I'm okay with both of these. Does anyone have strong feelings one way or the other?
Are you saying that's where the category is the best human scaled architecture?
I prefer urban. I prefer like urban experience. maybe.
That's-
I thought the category was that like a storefront renovation, and then the human scale and the urban experience were more of the keywords.
Okay.
That's not what I heard Ozma saying, Jody. I think I agree with that, but I think Ozma's pushing for a different thing. Are you, Ozma?
I am, but I might be alone in what I push for. And that's okay. This is a democracy. So I have to honor that. Okay, so I guess, do people feel good about the storefront category then? Yes,
Absolutely.
I like that.
we're in consensus.
But it's storefront, really storefront renovation then, no? To put it in another category, renovation, human scale, urban experience.
Ground floor. Ground floor renovation. Street level renovation.
No, it's the whole building, so.
Okay. We'll keep it like that. All right, let's go to Cola Meth. So I think this one has a sustainability story. There were actually two. This one got a 3.5. I don't know who the 0.5 was. That also, this one was the net zero sustainability one. So we kind of have two contenders that this one may be winning.
Why is coal MF sustainable? What is the category behind, what's the rationale behind that?
On the website, they had a bunch of diagrams for how their building is, like how it circulates. And I don't know that it's passive or anything, but
Yeah, I remember going through that review and it was not anything out of the ordinary. They were basically meeting Cal Green standards.
it's pretty good to check.
I think it'd be a mistake to give it a sustainability award if we're not really sure.
That's a good point.
So, you know, in the first one, we have human scale, but the building, the Colameth, really.
Yeah, I see this
is
as platinum.
it's platinum, yeah,
Cola Meth is lead platinum.
but
Correct.
Okay, so maybe sustainability is still on the table.
I'd like to see something which starts out with something about the way in which it's going to be used, sort of the people feel to the place, sense of place.
I like the connection to the context. I think the wood, you know, the where it sits in the scape of that street is
Yes.
is kind of a nice concept, at least as far as material goes.
And it's a very kind of a natural corner to the part of that landscape, which they're making a direct connection with there.
I think something about how daylight is handled would be appropriate for this project.
Since it's lead platinum, can it still be considered for sustainability?
Yeah, I think so.
Sustainability. Maybe we have 2 awards for sustainability if we decide to bring this guy back from the 3.5 land.
I would support Cole MF winning the award, an award for sustainability over the one on Page Mill.
There might be also, and I wasn't part of the review, but something about the master plan in terms of the campus being raised. I understood that it was an older campus, that they pretty much started from the beginning and did a lot of planning and site planning that might have been sustainably thought out in terms of light. But
Are you talking about Colameth?
yeah, sorry, I just wasn't part of the review of Colameth, but I gather that there was a very long master planning process that probably took sustainability in mind.
Okay, so we feel good about sustainability then?
That's good with me.
Board Member Lou, you're quiet. I want to make sure you're on board. Alex?
Oops. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say on this one, other than I think it's a good project. I'm ultimately disappointed in it. So I think I feel similarly to Peter on this one.
Yeah. Except I'm voting one way or another, Alex, and I'm on the fence.
No, I am too.
So, yeah, but I'm really torn, gang. If we're going to call this sustainable, the office building at, is it 1400 Page Mill, Alex? The one that's net zero energy?
Right.
Yes.
I mean, being net zero is a pretty tough thing to achieve. And if they're really doing that, that's a notch better than LEED Platinum. And that's
It
something we
is.
should celebrate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, I thought our proposed category was institutional for this one. And then the sustainable was the descriptor in the paragraph.
It says here on the proposed category column, sustainability.
Sorry, I thought there were notes about the paragraph description.
I think some weren't liking
category.
some
Okay.
board members weren't liking the architecture. So
Oh, I think the category is institutional though, right? At church? I mean
It's
synagogue.
an institutional one, yeah.
We have that here. No, would it be institutional? That counts as.
Well, it's a church. It's a
the categories are anything you want. So
I think institutional would be appropriate, and then the notes and descriptors to be about
I think you have a
sustainability.
fire station project and the junior museum that are in your top categories as well. So as far as
I think it's okay to have multiple in the categories, but I don't know. That's just me.
I don't know if we should have like, I don't know. I feel like there should be something to distinguish them, right? Unless we just decide to have 3 categories for institutional work. I mean, it seems like the last time we did these awards, it wasn't just the type, it was like something about it, like the landscape or. Oh, I feel strongly about that. I guess, am I alone in this? Am I like beating a horse that isn't moving forward? Is everybody else wanting to do just like the program? I've heard board member Baltain, Vice Chair Lee, but board member Hirsch and Lou.
I mean, I think the categories can be a mix of uses and other things, but I think if we had, like this is an institutional type building, but if you had 3 of those kinds of awards, it would be, I wouldn't think that would be great, but I mean, the fire station may have something different about it that's not about the use, or this, if you're saying sustainability for this one, that's different. It just would be strange to have 3 of the same awards.
I agree.
I'm running out of time.
Sorry, Chair Thompson and board members. I just wonder if would you all be interested in discussing if there's an institutional category and then within that there's a merit award and then a main winner? It's just the number of projects that we see are institutional and commercial. That's the bulk of what we see. So it's natural for these projects to come through in this percentage. That I just think we're forcing it to find that residential when we don't see that many, but whereas we see several commercial. But I mean, I'm absolutely fine if you want to just go the route of changing the category.
Institutional makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
That's how the world sees these things. That's the category. It's not, we're not making that up. That's the building code, that's zoning plans, that's everybody else.
Alex and David?
I could go along with it this way, the way it is.
Okay, maybe we
Sure.
move on to the next one and come back.
Yeah. Okay. So Lucille Packard. So this is also institutional, right?
Yep.
What I was hearing from the board, though, that it was the attention to detail that was important about this one. Yeah.
Huge
How about-
scale.
How about just giving it an honorable mention for attention to detail?
I think it got 4 votes to win an award. Right?
Yeah, but I think the trick is that a lot of it is on the inside, which is not really our purview. So,
But we can see a lot of it on the outside too. I mean, part of the reason.
right, but it's
you
also
can.
not open, and it's not open to the public. So really, nobody's going to see any of that unless they're a patient, or maybe you can see it in the lobby, inside the lobby.
I would be in support of honorable mention or a merit award within a category of institutional. If there's a way, I mean, it is a minor application. I don't know if that matters.
No. This is a major project.
Oh,
It's
it
the
just
whole,
says
it's the whole
minor.
building. Don't, yeah, the description is not right.
Oh, okay. But I would be okay with commended. I don't know. There's different ways to do these awards, right? If you want to call out something special about it under the category of institutional.
Okay, and so the next one is the fire station.
On my list, that was just the #1 project of everything. And I was sort of putting it above the category.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you mean?
So
It is the top
an overall winner.
Best
Yeah.
overall?
overall winner.
Well, I want to, Grace is right, not to use the word best, but that was my first choice of all the ones we reviewed as far as the most successful design.
Most
What about it
successful.
is successful?
Yeah, I know, we get into that discussion, but it fits the scale of its environment. It functions exceptionally well. It's a really innovative use of materials. They did a great job of modulating the design to be next to the park in a successful fashion. They preserved a big redwood tree in the front successfully. I think going on and on, it's really quite a wonderful building.
I think board member Balte became the owner of this award.
Well, if it's the best of the lot, then sure.
Well, it's in our top 6, so it's,
Yeah, I don't think we've decided to do a best overall just yet.
Of course.
I think I want to emphasize, agree with Peter on this one very much so, and that it really has just everything in it that one would look in the other ones for to be better, to be able to be as good as this one.
Let's go to the next one, junior museum. Some institutional. I think I liked the materials most about this one, but there's also, I don't know, I think that like kind of nave reform is pretty compelling as well. What else? What do we think about the junior museum?
That building, it has great site planning. If you compare that to what was there before they put that in, they reconfigured the parking lot in a very nice way, very elegantly. They preserved the Girl Scout building nearby, again, really successfully.
The streetscape is really wonderful too, because
They had a challenging mix of how do you integrate, how do you pay attention to the R1 neighborhood across the street while not making it look like a bunch of houses.
Right.
Which is a debate we've been having recently for other projects. It's a debate the Bowman School does not do as successfully, I think.
Okay.
And I think that's why you call this out, because they do this thing that we're all trying to get buildings to do in town. And they've done it exceptionally well.
Mhm.
Long residential, low-lying roof, but still a commercial and institutional building. They really pulled it together.
There was some notes about historic review. Was there a discussion with HRB? I'm just wondering if there's.
There was a Girl Scout building, Grace, the original.
Oh, that was the historic part. Okay.
Girl Scout thing was right next door to this, or still is.
Mhm.
That was the historic part of it. It's on the Lucy Stern campus too.
Yeah, I don't know the project well, but I thought the entry was improved from the parking lot. So I was a little bit on the fence voting for this project. So
You remember how you used to have to drive sort of through that circuitous parking lot
Yes.
to get from the back of the
Yes.
Lucy Stern
Oh my
Theater out to Middlefield?
mhm.
The site planning is so logically just took care of that.
Yeah, site planning is better.
But again, that's many categories, but that's what makes the whole thing come together. But to me, it's an institutional project.
Yeah, we have 4 institutional projects. And then this last one, I guess, is R&D or office.
yeah, this is a research park building.
And then
This
I
is
don't-
the butterfly roofs.
right.
The commercial building.
It's not commercial, it's office, right? Or
Well, called R&D or
R&D.
office. Those are both private businesses.
It's commercial.
Commercial, okay. What specifically? We have a subscript on this one. I have some notes on sustainability, site planning. You want to consider site planning?
Yeah, tree preservation. They improve the lighting on the bike path.
Sounds like site planning.
Oh, there was, yeah, the bike path is a big deal.
And then the privacy to the adjacent houses.
But come on, don't give them an award for that. They did that kicking and screaming. Come on, we have
It
to
looks
fight
good, Peter.
every step of the way on that stuff, gang. And you can't call this sustainable. The building's all glass facing south.
There's overhangs.
No, not substantially, Ozma, when you look at it. I remember the design review on this, and it's way, way glazed. There's going to be enormous heat gain in this thing. Without the AC, it won't work.
Does it have a qual? Does it have like a lead qual?
Looking it up.
I really have to go in 5 minutes. I don't know what the best course of action is. We're really close. I mean, unless we feel like this is good and this is what we have.
We haven't figured out the one project that isn't on here yet.
I could also deputize Vice Chair Lee to take over in my stead and then try to come back
Sure,
afterwards.
it works, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a green building score for Hanover, but it's fairly newly completed, so.
Chair Ozma, I think we are going to need in your last minutes some ideas on how to, assign tasks, or is this going to a smaller group where the new vice chair and chair in terms of how to plan with Amy and with staff and Jody and, achieve board consensus on how the awards are given, how we reach out to each architectural team to get the images so that they may be printed or put in a PDF to share with council and the public. There's actually quite a bit to do still, but it's great that we've gotten pretty far on the discussion. I just wonder if you
Yeah,
need
I wonder
more
if the-
discussion though to complete the awards, in terms of the planning. Maybe Jody and Amy have some ideas here.
Yeah, I think the how to give the awards, even if we needed to talk to the new board members, that would be fine. But I would love for this board to at least know, who the winners are.
And I mean, I guess the question is like, do we need to do another round of votes, or like, are these top our winners?
I wish 611 Cowper were in the mix, gang.
This one?
You know what? I would weigh in and say, I don't think it's a problem to, even after the board composition changes, to have another meeting with the folks that were in place, in 2020, 21, to finalize this effort. I mean, in the past, we have asked former board members to come back and participate. So if there's, another 1 hour meeting that's needed, and some of you aren't on the board, I think that's still fine.
Well, that's great to hear. I'd be happy to do that. I'm sure, board member Lou, maybe you can let us know how you feel, but that would be one way to go.
How about if I make a motion that we provide architecture awards to the top 6 that are on this list right now, and this board votes at least on that, so we're on the record. So that's my motion, that the top 6 on this list now are given an award for architectural merit, and we'll decide exactly the categories later.
I'll second.
I point of information here, we're not including Cowper in the list then?
That's right, David. We don't have the votes for it. We don't have the votes for it.
Have we taken a poll? I would like to write a friendly amendment that says that we include Cowper as one of the projects and make it 7.
I don't support that. That's too many. I'm sorry. Alex, what's your thing?
Yeah, I think if you guys want to put 611 Cowper on, something else needs to come off.
Which one would you suggest we substitute for 611, David?
Well, that's a tough one.
I think we should move forward with the motion. It's been made.
Let's take a vote on my friendly amendment first.
Well, it's not a friendly amendment though, but you can vote on it however the chair wants to proceed.
I didn't hear support for your amendment, so it wouldn't be part of the motion. Right.
Is there a second for David's unfriendly amendment? That's how we have to call it, sorry.
I don't hear a second for the unfriendly amendment.
Okay,
Okay. All right, so motion by Bolte, seconded by Lou. Let's take a vote.
Okay. Board Member Baltai,
Yes,
Board Member Hirsch,
yes,
Vice Chair Lee,
Yes.
Board Member Lou,
Yes.
Chair Thompson.
Yes.
The motion carries 5-0.
So I guess we'll continue this conversation in the new year. But thank you for making that motion, Board Member Bolte. At least
it was
we
a lot harder than I thought it would be. 5 strong opinions together.
Yeah, I think in person it'd be easier because we'd be able to have pictures and we could shuffle things around and organize them a little differently. But
yeah, I want to just say, Jody, thank you very much. You did a fabulous job.
No worries. Thank you all for your help. I know it is hard, trying to decide on these sorts of things. So
Well, I thought we did really well.
yeah,
we got to a motion. So yes,
Mhm.
thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Amy, for the suggestion that we can come back one more time to work out the details. And thank you all for, being willing to do that.
yeah. Thank you so much to the whole board for your participation in this. It takes a lot of patience and effort. So
Yeah,
we
good
appreciate
grief.
that.
I look forward to the party where we're all together again.
That will be
Yes.
nice.
Grace.
Yes, we'll
Alex.
try and
Bit of
do
a
that
reception.
on the 20th, January 20th. Otherwise, maybe February, but I'll let everyone know. So I thank you, and I hope everyone has a wonderful holidays.
Yes, Merry Christmas all.
Yes, but Chair Thompson, I'll let you do the official closure.
Yeah, and thank you for your service again, Board Member Lou and Vice Chair Lee.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you, everyone.
all.
Yes.
And we'll see everybody soon. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you so much.